Hello and welcome to my webinar. Today I'm going to be talking about path to a successful mindset and a thoughtful future. I'm going to be your guide today. My name is Diana Stephanie Lara, and I'm currently a Home Depot marketing program manager at Citibank. What that means is essentially I do advertising, email campaigns, like flyers, posters, anything that you could think about advertising for the Home Depot credit card. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. by a single mother. My family is originally from Honduras in Central America. And I moved to Georgia to attend Emory University in 2014. And I got accepted into the Goizueta Business School, where I double majored in strategy and management consulting and international studies. So essentially, I graduated with a degree in business, and I also got to learn about Latin American politics and history. So at Emory, I also got exposure to ALPHA, which is the Association of Latino Professionals for America. This is a nonprofit national organization that has chapters in various universities across the country. And we actually didn't have a chapter at Emory, so I became the first president for the chapter at Emory and was able to help found the first board. So our board is still there and they are doing really strong. And I have been so grateful with the opportunities that they have offered, whether it's internships, jobs, and especially networking with other people who look like me, that I have decided and I continue to be involved in the professional chapter in Atlanta. So I'm currently their secretary for the professional chapter. So I want to pose a question to you first to get us started. So what do you want to be when you grow up? This is probably a question you've been asked many times, and people are always wondering, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or what are you passionate about? What are you interested in? And you might feel lost for words or like you really don't know how to get started when answering this question. The good news that I have for you is you don't have to know right now. But there are different things that you can start doing now to help you explore and start thinking of the right answer for you. So with that, I'm going to start with the agenda. So the agenda is what we're going to go through today in this session. And hopefully you will take on this journey with me to develop a positive and proactive mindset and also learn how to discover your Ikigai, which is a Japanese concept, which is about finding your purpose. So the first thing is we're going to talk about mindset practices, so how to train your brain to think differently. Then we're going to go into exploration tools, tips and ways for you to stay curious and to get to learn more about your options and your environment. And lastly, I'm going to go over the Ikigai activity about finding your purpose, and you can take that home with you to continue evolving and working on throughout your life and your career. So first of all, what is a mindset? Your mindset is a collection of thoughts and beliefs that shape your thought habits. And your thought habits affect how you think, how you feel, and what you do. Your mindset impacts how you make sense of the world and also how you make sense of you. So how you make sense of yourself. In general, scientists have said that there are two types of mindsets. There are people who have a fixed mindset and people with a growth mindset. So a fixed mindset is someone who usually sticks to what they know. They think that things are the way they are and they can't change anything because they are limited by their abilities or what they were born with. And they don't like to feel challenged or uncomfortable. They feel that whenever they're confronted with failure, they couldn't have done anything differently to change that, and that it is what it is. Like, you're either good or you're not. You know, it's black and white. There isn't any other options for you. On the other side, we have people who have a growth mindset. A growth mindset is someone who thinks that they can learn and that they can change their habits and change their experiences. and they make feel comfortable with challenges because it helps them grow. And when they're confronted with failure or when they make a mistake, they understand that it was a mistake or a failure, but they also see what they did wrong and they see that as an opportunity for growth. So they essentially learn from it. They take that feedback and they understand that they can do better, and that the effort that they put into it and the attitude that they have can really make a difference. So hopefully I can help you think and believe that you can change and you can grow through your experiences and the way that you apply your mindset in your life. So you're probably like, well, how do I change my mindset? Well, the first thing you can start doing is practicing with positive affirmations every single day. So positive affirmations are things that you say to yourself inside your head. So it could be anything from I love myself, I'm happy, and I am grateful. And these are really good context and statement for you to flourish and to feel better and to have a good mindset right off in the beginning of the day. So just so that you know, having negative mindsets and having a negative thought process takes as much effort as a positive one. So it's not harder to have a positive mindset than a negative one. They take just as much of the same energy to do either. So I want to encourage you to start practicing and doing positive affirmations so you can start thinking positive things in anything that you see. So what I have done for you is I have put 7 positive affirmations together that you can start with. You can put it on your mirror, you can put it on your door, anywhere where you will see it on a regular basis, and you will be able to repeat them to yourself out loud. So if you want to, you can go ahead and do this with me. Say them out loud. I believe in my dreams. I am doing my best every day. I love myself for who I am. I am in charge of my own happiness. I accept 100% responsibility for my own life. The best is yet to come, and I am grateful for every day. So I want you to soak that in and really believe it, really put that into your head and just remind yourself these things every day. Once you feel more comfortable, you can start thinking about other positive affirmations that you think will benefit you in your life. So no matter what anybody says about you, no matter what, your parents, your teachers, if it's not positive, you have to be that for yourself. So you can do that, and you can make yourself feel a lot better and push yourself forward by saying positive affirmations out loud. So now we're going to move on to the next thing about your mindset, which is changing your expectations. So when an event is coming up, or, a test is coming, or something is going to happen and you're aware of it, you're already starting to make assumptions and putting ideas about how that is going to go and how it's going to happen. And neuroscientists have actually proven that what you believe can actually impact and change the outcomes in your reality. So if you're thinking in your head, oh, this is really hard, I can't do it, that's actually negatively affecting you. So let's do this together. I want you to think about an assignment or a task that you have to do, whether it's a summer project, maybe it's something that your parents have asked you to do, maybe you broke something and you're trying to figure out how to fix it. It might be overwhelming in that moment, but just by focusing on the reasons you will succeed can make a huge difference in your outcome and attitude and your approach to it. It's just as simple as that. Like, you just have to change what you believe, and it can really affect and influence your reality. So one of my tips here is the amount of effort and energy that you put into it, into trying or thinking about, all those reasons you will succeed, and just focusing on what your strengths are and how you can make it happen, is going to come back to you in the world in that same amount of energy. and your results will be better. And so it might seem like a myth, like the fake it till you make it, but there is some truth to that statement. A lot of people do fake it and they end up making it because of it, because they come off as like positive and that they can do it and that they're capable. And that makes a huge difference. So I want you to take away that your brain is a powerful thing. You are in control of that brain, and you can start training it to constantly see the positive things in life and help you see that there are good things around you, and that will change the actual reality that you live in. So more than the ability that you have is your character. It's how you act, how you pursue life, and having that positive energy. And I wish someone had told me this when I was growing up, because I think I focused so much on what was wrong. I used to critique myself for every little thing that I did wrong. And I probably would have enjoyed my life a lot more if I had gotten someone to sit down with me and just show me how to be grateful and how to be happy about like everything that I had accomplished in my career. And you don't have to be perfect. It's just the way that you think and the way that you see the world. So now we're going to move on to exploration tools. So we all have a little bit of curiosity about the future or what's going to happen, or maybe you're curious about certain topics, maybe science, maybe history. Maybe you're just an artist and you're really curious about, mixing colors. Whatever it is, I want you to dive into that curiosity. And so when it comes to your career and your future profession, I'm going to share some tools that you can use to help you explore what's possible. What is it that you can do? So the first one is take field trip. You already probably take field trips when you go with your school, right? You go to a museum, or maybe you go to like a local theme park. Whatever it is that you're doing, when you go on a field trip, you're getting exposure to the world. You're getting exposure to what exists, what's already out there. And you actually do this when you go on trips with your family or friends. You get to meet new family members or new friends, and they have a different lifestyle or a different culture. And you're learning so much from that. And maybe you really enjoyed a part of it and you decided, I want to live like that, or I want to pick that up. So field trips are so important for you to start really seeing what your possibilities are in the future for your career. So how can you do this in your career, right? Well, you can start small by taking visits to like your backyard. Maybe you have an interest in the flowers in the backyard and you want to start gardening. And then that leads to, your interest in biology. Or maybe you walk around the neighborhood and you see one of your neighbors working on their cars and you're like, oh, I love this. I want to fix my car, or how can I help them? And that's how you get into engineering. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a different experience where you get exposure to something completely new. And you can do things like go to a farm, you can go camping, you can give yourself a self-guided tour through the city. And I actually know that you can do that virtually as well now. So take advantage of those virtual tools, because your generation can now, travel the world online and on the internet. One big tip, though, is that when you are trying something completely new, please do your research, whether it's online or you call the location beforehand, just so that you're prepared with all the materials, snacks, things that you might need that you probably didn't think of right off the bat because it's new to you, right? And of course, in this pandemic, please make sure to protect yourself with a mask, gloves, and hand sanitizers at the minimum. So another exploration tool related to it is talking to someone who inspires you. So talk to somebody new, somebody that you maybe have not had a conversation with. Maybe send an email to a teacher, send an email to your librarian, maybe a college student that you know, or an Alpha member, right? Like we have the Alpha Board network that is available to you, and you can look us up on LinkedIn. You can also reach out to your advisor or maybe a local artist. Maybe you're inspired by some music video or DJ. Whatever it is that you like or you want to learn more about, reach out. Reach out to that person that has inspired you to start something and just ask them questions. So one thing that I recommend you do, because this has been extremely helpful, is talk about what you're interested in. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be video games or it could be makeup. Whatever it is, just talk about it. When you talk about what you're interested in, people hear those things and they can connect you to other people who have those similar interests. And when they do connect you, be very respectful and mindful, and make sure that you prepare questions for them and you are ready to ask when you have a meeting with them. So as we continue, something that your generation, again, is very open to, and just, it has been in your life for most of your life, honestly, has been the internet. I'm sure you all know how to explore the internet. You guys have all been on there, but I want to caution you to search wisely. So what I mean by that is when you're doing a Google search, use keywords. So be very particular about taking your interests and putting specific words into your engine and see what comes up, and start reading about it, just looking at articles or watching videos about it. And it'll lead you to a lot of different things that you might not have been aware of. Maybe if you like video games, you start learning about Python and coding, and you're like, I didn't know what coding was. It's literally building everything behind that game or website. And it might be a really cool language that you would want to learn, so that you could build your own games or build your own website, whatever it is that you're interested in. Another thing is, be aware, be careful. We are in a new world, and the internet is full of scams, fraud, and false information. Please be careful. So many of my peers and so many people who are much older and even younger have been harmed by scams online, whether it's through email, whether it's stealing information. So definitely be careful when it comes to what you put on the internet when it comes to your information. Something that is pretty helpful for me has been knowing that websites that end in .edu or .org or .gov tend to be very reliable. So keep those in mind when you're looking for information or just trying to learn. And if you're really unsure if a website is safe, I would go and actually Google that website, right? You want to see, hey, is this valid? Is this a real thing? Always double check yourself, okay? I know this from experience. A lot of people have been through unfortunate events because of fraud. So I'm warning you now to be careful when you're exploring the internet. Oh. So the last thing I want to talk about is Ikigai. So this is an activity for you to take home so you can start your lifelong journey to find your purpose in life. So Ikigai, again, is a concept. It's a Japanese concept, and it stands for a reason for being. And it was developed so that you could find your purpose. And this graph on the right is basically a whole summary of how it works and how different aspects of your life overlap and what that means, right? So on the left, I have provided 4 questions that you can start answering, and you can take them with you, come back to them in a year or two and see if it's still the same thing or maybe it has changed. You want to ask yourself, what do you love? What do you love to do? What do you love to eat? What do you love? Anything that you love. This is your passion. This is what you are passionate about. Number 2, what are you good at? What are you naturally good at? Are you good at math? Are you good at writing? Are you good at music and making sounds? What is it that you're good at? That's going to be your vocation. So vocation is a fancy word for your position in a career, or your job, right? It's what is your job going to be in the future, or the industry, the area that you're going to be in. The next one is, what can you get paid for? So this is really thinking about like jobs that already exist and that are out there that you know you can get a salary from. And you want to be very careful here because depending on the profession that you go in, you're going to get a different salary. So definitely start thinking about that, because someone who is working for a nonprofit versus someone who's working for a corporation are probably going to have very different salaries. And so the lifestyle that you want, you really want to think about how much money you're going to need, right? Definitely consult with your parents, your teachers, or advisors to help you kind of understand that a little bit more. The fourth one is, what does the world need? So this is getting outside of your bubble, right? Outside of your friend group, outside of your school, outside of your county, and really thinking about the world and saying, what does this world need? It doesn't mean you have to create something new or reinvent the wheel. It just means, what does the world need? We have so many things that need help in our planet, whether it's climate change and helping save the environment, saving animals, helping people that are migrating. Maybe you want to be a lawyer and you want to represent people who are struggling with their citizenship. Or there are kids who are, hungry and they're in foster care. So maybe you want to go into the justice system. Maybe you want to be a judge or a teacher, because you get to influence kids and influence other people. So there are so many needs in our world and so many ways that you can connect them. But these are 4 questions to help you figure out, what is your passion, what's your mission in life, and what is your reason for being in this world. And it's good because hopefully it'll lead to a feeling of satisfaction. It'll feel like you are here for a reason and there's a purpose, and that you don't feel like you're not important or relevant, because you are. Everybody's important. And I also want you to be excited about your future. Like, this is your life. You can take a hold of it and run with it. I've also provided the link here below so that you can read more about Aikige. It's a really great activity, definitely a good thing to be reflecting on, even at an early age. And so the last thing I want to leave you with is a quote from Winston Churchill. So our future is in our hands, and our lives are what we choose to make them. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope you found this session helpful. Feel free to reach out to me, and I am so happy to have been with you today.